Good morning. Let's see. It says we're live. Michael Hamilton was first person in here this morning. Good morning, Michael. If y'all can hear me, let me know because I know this thing does like a 30-second behind kind of catch-up deal. So as soon as you can hear me, let me know, and we will start up Clickbait and Coffee this morning. All right. Thank you, Michael Hamilton. Appreciate it. All right. Today's Tuesday, August 12th. The weather is getting a little bit nicer. It was hot yesterday. It was like 94 or something like that. I'm making a note of something I forgot about. All right. It was hot, and I tell you, the air conditioner on my truck has been like sputtering on and off. And the other day, me and my youngest son were riding in the truck, and I'm like, it is stinking hot. And he was like, I'm cool over here. So I reached over, felt the air vent on his side, and it was blowing just super cold air. And I'm like, what the heck? It was blowing warm air on my side. And I'm like, I drive around a bunch in between jobs and stuff like that. So I'm in my truck a bunch. And I'm like, I'll take care of this and figure it out later. And so it's been going on for quite a while. So yesterday I had a free minute, and I was like, I'm going to change the air filter, the cabin air filter in the truck. And good morning, Bill. And good morning, Greg. But so I changed the cabin air filter in the truck. That thing had probably never been changed. It was nasty. So I did it, and it was still blowing hot air on my side. So I got on the YouTube machine and was looking at some of it. And apparently there's an actuator, and this is why they have to make these trucks so stinking complicated. I would love it if they went back and just made a plain basic truck, not all these bells and whistles and sensors and all this kind of crap. And it's like one guy said, he said, I'm at the point in my life, if the vehicle doesn't have an ashtray, I don't really want it. So being that it would be old enough to still have an ashtray in it. So anyway, I was looking on the YouTube machine, and there's an actuator that opens and closes to bring cold air. And when you spin the thermostat on it, it will move and let warm air come in or cold air. So I was looking at it, and it's an absolute bear to replace. So some guys were saying to turn the passenger or the driver's side, turn it on warm and then turn it back down and see if the actuator would work. So I did that a few times. I could see the actuator was actually working. So I turned it all the way up, let it run for a few minutes, and then turn it back all the way down to cool. And apparently the actuator opened up. So now there's air conditioning on both sides of my truck. So I'm kind of happy about that. So instead of spending hours taking half the dash apart to replace a little bitty, this part is probably like the size smaller than a Stanley tape measure. But it's like hours if you take the dash off and everything. So air conditioning is working on the truck. So I'm kind of happy. Then Michael Hamilton says it's 65 here this morning. I don't even know. It felt nice this morning when I was outside. So let's see what the temperature. It's 79. Going to be 87 today and 55% chance of rain. Hatfield Homestead, good morning to you too. So, yes, I'm happy that I've got air conditioning 100% working in the truck. So, and then also, let me grab this. I am not affiliated with this company, make any money off this or anything, but this is MRE Star. They're based out of Florida, and this is not going to be until October, but I thought I'd throw a sneak peek. It's the Pink Spoon campaign, and this is for October. October is Breast Care Awareness Month, and they're doing so I think they're, and I've got all the details, but essentially they're doing a campaign, and they had emailed me, and they're like, hey, Jason, would you be interested in doing a campaign with us to raise money for breast care or breast cancer awareness? And I'm like, sure. They're like, we're going to send you a couple MREs and open them up, do a quick video on it about the company, and then that we're raising money for breast cancer. And I'm like, cool, I'll do it. And they're like, one of the neat things is the MRE spoon in there is usually brown, but they've had special made pink MRE spoons in there. So there's pink MRE spoons in those, and I'm like, this is going to be cool. So in October, be looking out. I've got 2 of their MREs. I'm going to open up and taste test them and see how they do. I've got a bunch of MREs, eating a bunch of MREs too, and we're going to try these out and see how they do. But I thought it's cool that they've got pink spoons in them for breast cancer awareness. So we've got that. Also, let me see, Bill. The temperature is the same in Jackson, Tennessee. So, but yeah, it's saying there's a pretty good chance of rain today. I hadn't even looked at it. Yeah, 55% today and tomorrow. So we're working inside at my brother's house. The the plumbers are running behind. They didn't get there yesterday. So plumbers are going to be there at like 9:15 this morning. So we'll go meet them. We're going to set the tub, do a couple things like that, and then I've got to start getting ready for tile around the tub today at my brother's house. So, all right, we'll run over. Hey, topic of the day is 7 mistakes preppers make. So, if you've got some ideas on mistakes that preppers make, shoot them in the comments, and we're going to talk about them here in just a little while. Churn Dash Farm, good morning. So, but yeah, 7 prepping mistakes. I kind of came up with a list of stuff and was looking over the interwebs, and I'm like, this would make a pretty good topic. So we'll cover that here in just a little bit. Also, Retro Warrior Coffee. Go to retrowarriorcoffee.com. Use the code Homestead50. That will get you 50% off a sample pack, so you can try it before you buy it. I've already drank coffee this morning. I've got, here's one of their sample packs. It's Give Me Coffee or Give Me Death. I've got it sitting down here. But I've already had my coffee for the morning, and I'm drinking Liquid IV. So we've got something cool on the website. I'm going to hit it in a minute. You might see it scrolling across the bottom. But yeah, Bill, putting back 1 year of food and stopping there. That would be a mistake for sure. But, all right. First aid kits, medical supplies, they're all on the website. And also, I've been wanting to do this for a while. I'm a general ham license. I'm trying for my extra. Hopefully soon, when Brian and Susan come up next time, I'm going to take my extra test again and see if I can pass it. I've taken it 3 times and failed miserably 3 times. So, but I've been wanting to do radios before and doing programmed radios. Like that's the UV17. We've got, this is the 5RM. But I've been wanting to do the radios for a while. I program all my radios, most of my base stations and everything are in a separate room. I hadn't got them moved over here yet. I've just got to redo antennas. So, good morning, Patty. How are you? I just have not moved antennas and all that stuff. So hopefully in about a week or so, I can do that. But I talked to Brian and Susan. I'm like, hey, would you want to collaborate and do some radio stuff? And they're like, yeah, sure. What are you thinking? So we've got collaborating with Brian and Susan at S&B Homestead Radio. We are selling pre-programmed radios. We're going to program those for you. We're making radio packages with different antennas. We've also got your mobile antennas for base stations and your car. But what we're doing, we're selling the radios. These are pre-programmed radios for your location. We'll put in a bunch of different frequencies that you can use, and then also all your local repeaters into the radios, give you a printout of all that. And then the cool thing about it is Brian and Susan are going to do a 30-minute consultation, video consultation with you after you receive your radio. So yeah, a lot of guys are doing programmed radios, and it's like, here's your sheet. Go on and take on the world with your new Baofeng radio that you bought. I wanted to step it up a little bit. So Brian and Susan have agreed. They're like, yeah, these radio packages come pre-programmed, and you also get a 30-minute video consultation with Brian and Susan, and they're going to walk you through the basic steps on how to use this radio. We've got some of the Baofeng handhelds. We've also got a TYT 8600. That's a 25 watt waterproof radio. It's IP67 rated. We've got it. It'll do 25 watts. You can use it. The package comes with a mag mount antenna. So you can stick this in your car, stick the antenna on the top of your car, and get a lot more range than just your small handhelds back there. And then we've got, it's the TYT 9800. That's a 50 watt quad band. It will do 2 meter, 70 centimeter. It'll do your GMRS, your MERS, your marine bands, and it'll also do 6 meter and 10 meter. So it's a pretty stinking cool radio. I'm going to buy one for myself and put down here. I had its little brother, the 7800, that would just do 2 meter and 70 centimeter. And of course, it'd do GMRS and MERS and marine and all that. I've got its little brother, and I've wanted one of these, so I'm going to buy one for myself and have it sitting down here as soon as I get a chance to do it. It's just running out of time. But we got the program radios. Check those out on the website. And if you got questions, shoot me an email, and we can answer your questions on it. So also, I'll be down at TAC Response August 30th and 31st, taking their immediate action medical. Hacks for the Homesteader, good morning. But I'll be taking a immediate action medical down there. And man, we have got some stinking workshops ready. And I am excited about this. All the workshops are on the website. You can go purchase your spot for the workshop on the website. And I don't have any moderators in here this morning, so nobody to post links. So you'll just have to go. It's KentuckySustainableLiving.com is the website. Jump on there and check out the workshops. But quick overview of the workshops. Combat Midwife, Jessica, she's going to be down October 25th. And that's going to be at Western at the Expo Center where we do the festival. It's going to be there October 25th. I'm excited about that class. It's going to be about childbirthing, female problems, dealing with a newborn baby, all that kind of stuff. Super interesting class. Going to learn a lot with it. One I'm even more excited about, probably most excited about this. Mike Atkins, that writes books, and Mike's books are awesome. I finished his second book the other night and stayed up too late doing that, but I enjoy his books and I'm ready for the next one to come out. But Mike Atkins is going to be teaching the land nav class for us. That is going to be at Barren River State Park over at it's in between Scottsville and Glasgow. It's technically Lucas is what it's called, but it's going to be at Barren River State Park. We've got a room there. It's going to be a 2-day class. First day is going to be classroom stuff, learning to use your map, learning to use your compass, all that kind of stuff. Real deep dive into that. And then the next day is actually going to be going out. Mike's setting up a navigation course for everybody. So we're going to go through the course. It's going to be fun too. Brian and Susan are coming up, and they're going to be running all our communications for us because everybody's going to have a radio while you're out going through the course, going through the woods and all that. And Brian and Susan are going to be back at back at our base running radios and making sure everybody can stay in radio communication. You know, if somebody falls and sprains their ankle or some little thing like that, and we need to go help them out, we're going to have radio communications. So that will be fun. And then our final workshop that we've got most likely for the year is Leslie is going to be doing, what did she call her workshop? Let's see. Leslie's workshop is beyond the basics of herbalism. So a lot of people, we were talking to her, and she's like, a lot of people know how to make a tincture, know how to make a salve, but it's kind of deeper diving. You know, if this is what, take your skills to the next level. discover your body's constitution, explore herbal energetics, match herbs with people, create effective formulas, and refine your medicine making techniques. So she had told me a lot of people are just, yeah, we've got the basics. We want something a little bit more. We want a deeper dive. So we've got Leslie coming back up. This is going to be at the Expo Center, same place we have the festival. That's going to be December 6th. And you can get your tickets on the website. So we've got that. And I'm excited about that too. I don't dive into herbalism like a lot of people do. I know some of the basics, but I'm excited to go through this and learn just a little bit more. I've got a lot of your basics down, and I'm like, this will be cool. So that's what I've got as far as Kentucky sustainable living and fun stuff like that. Some of the news stuff. Let's talk about what's going on in the news. Trump has federalized essentially the D.C. police. He's federalized that, and then has the National Guard in D.C. Essentially, it's under the ruse of we're going to clean up D.C., clean up the homelessness, and clean up all the violence and crime and stuff like that. That's why he's saying he's doing it. I don't know the real reason he's doing it. If anybody's got any ideas why he's actually doing it, put it in the comments. I'd like to read your comments. I just saw it come across the news feed yesterday, and it's like, okay, what's the real deal behind it? Because anytime any of these politicians say they're doing something for one reason, the real reason is hidden, and we'll find out about it later. Some people are freaking out. There's like, oh my gosh, he's going to take over the whole country and martial law and all this kind of crap. I don't know the real reason he's doing it. And what was it? One guy was saying he's one of these guys that he's all into Q, and we're sitting here watching a movie, and Trump's playing 5D chess and all this stuff, and we're just sitting watching the movie, and everything's already happened, and great job, Trump, and this and that. And I'm just like, man, these people are stupid. And they're just, I just don't understand the whole Q-tard thing, and people are still believing that kind of stuff. So that, and they're still waiting for Trump to be their Lord and Savior and save everybody. If you're waiting for somebody to save your ass, you're waiting on yourself. So you're the only person that's going to save you. Somebody in D.C. is not going to save you. I can tell you that for sure. Grocery prices are still up. The economy's still not super great. So it's like all these people are like, okay, hey, Trump's going to be the savior. Trump ain't done shit for me. So let's see what happens. Go save yourself. Be more self-sufficient. Be more sustainable at your place. Start today and do one extra thing to make yourself more resilient. Let me see. Hacks for the homesteader. Well, if we go to war, he'll have military in place already. Just a thought. Yeah, that... And that's another thing I did, and I'm not ready to talk about all of it yet. And I've kind of got to be, saw a chicken out the window. You kind of got to be careful about the whole Palestinian and Israel thing. Actually, it came out yesterday. North Korea and Russia have both come out and told Israel, it's like, you need to stop the war in Gaza and against the Palestinians. Essentially, they're saying it's an ethnic cleansing, and they're just, absolutely starving the Palestinians, and they're wanting to do a whole ethnic cleansing, take over the whole Gaza Strip, drive all the Palestinians out and everything like that. I've been looking and doing a bunch of research on it, and we'll come up with some more stuff when I'm a little bit more educated. So we'll just say, my opinion on it is the nation state of Israel, the country, is doing genocide, in my opinion, from what I've seen and everything else. But we'll do a little bit deeper dive in it later on and do that. But yeah, North Korea and Russia have pretty much told Israel, hey, you need to stop doing what you're doing. You're not doing it for the good. You're doing it just to gain more ground, and you're just essentially murdering all these people. Good morning, Melanie. She's listening from work. and Michael Hamilton. One of the Doge people got his butt kicked in D.C. by a bunch of yokes. Well, I don't know. We'll probably never know the real reason behind that. And then the last little news thing I've got was kind of funny. Let me pull it up. All right. This is a headline. I can't believe it's not butter. Why you shouldn't eat Savior's new carbon-based butter. All right. There is a company, and let me find it. All right. The company is Breakthrough Energy Ventures. That sounds like an awesome company to be selling butter. So, and of course, the company is backed by Bill Gates. Good morning, Miss Sharon. Glad to have you here. Yeah, the company is backed by Bill Gates, and apparently they are making butter. And the butter is made, let's see, was to achieve this technological advancement by molecularly constructing fat out of carbon dioxide, green hydrogen, and methane. So they're making butter out of this. And it says this revolutionary product aims to answer the growing need for sustainable food chain solutions that offer a reliable alternative to ag-dependent oils. Hey, I've got an idea. If everybody had a little bit of land and everybody grew some of their own food and a few more people had a cow or two at their place that they could milk every day and make their own butter and share with their neighbors or trade with their neighbors, that's sustainability. So sustainability is not making butter or fake butter in one of these labs when you're putting carbon dioxide, green hydrogen, and methane in there. What's wrong with taking raw milk and taking the cream and making butter? Not a huge carbon footprint on that. I mean, I know people, Emily Rock lives over in Alberton. I know her personally. She makes butter all the time. The carbon footprint on her butter is like next to nothing. I think she uses her KitchenAid mixer to make butter. So this is a 25,000 square foot facility in Illinois. Okay. And they're looking to produce 100 kilograms a week of artificial fat by the middle of this year. Okay. I would put that up against 100 kilograms. That's 220 pounds. I guarantee that Emily could make 220 pounds of butter a year in her kitchen from just the milk cows that she's got. So I don't know how big Emily's house is, but I'm guessing it's probably not 25,000 square feet and has all kinds of power coming to it. So the whole sustainability of ag-dependent oils, that's just a crock. Let's get back to the smaller farms and the stuff like that. We didn't have problems with this when people were doing their own stuff, but now everybody's living in the city. They're like, oh, we don't have room for this. Stop building all these houses. Stop building all these stinking houses on all this good farmland, and we won't have to worry about it, and then driving the price up where nobody can afford land and everything else. So just a thought. Is somebody in their small little 5 to 10 acre plot that's raising a cow or two to milk, is that more sustainable than a 25,000 square foot facility in the middle of, I don't know, an industrial park? Which one's more sustainable to y'all? I know which one it is for me. And let's see, Miss Sharon. I guess they figured out that margin isn't offering us fast enough. Yeah, probably. And I mean, I don't know. I like plain old butter that's made out of cream. So not carbon dioxide, green hydrogen, and methane. So let's see, Bill. Right here, when I was milking goats, it takes a whole 5 minutes with a hand churn in a quart jar to make a quarter pound of butter. Exactly. And Bill, with his hand churn, is way more sustainable than a stinking manufacturing facility. It's people see this and people throw around sustainable food chain. You know, they'll throw that stuff around. The sustainable food chain is the one that's in your backyard, not the one that's in Illinois 4 or 5 hours away in an industrial park. The sustainable food chain is your backyard, your friends, your neighbors all coming together and growing and raising the stuff that you need. That's as sustainable as you can get. Yes, you're going to need some inputs from other places, but the vast majority, and then people will say, well, we got to have fertilizer to do it. No, if you've got good compost, and it's like William says, compost will fix your farm. If you've got good compost on your place and you're making good compost, you can do a compost extract, a compost tea. That's going to make your compost go farther. Do it. Put it on your gardens. Take the compost tea, spray it on your pastures. That's going to help everything. So then your pastures are getting better. They can support more livestock, and you can grow more livestock, have more meat. Your chickens, right there. A lot of your food scraps, stuff like that. Do the chicken tractor on steroids or the chicken tractor on meth, and that's going to help you. You can raise your chickens for next to nothing because they're helping you make compost, and they're also eating stuff out of the compost. And then you can take all your waste from your house and feed it to your chickens. So that's a sustainable food chain right there, not a factory in an industrial park. Let's see. With no artificial or unhealthy fats. Exactly. And that's another thing. Everybody, all the seed oils and all that kind of stuff. It's like we need to get back to eating healthy fats, animal fats, your real butters, your beef tallow, your lard, rendered fats from animals. That's the best stuff. All the seed oils and everything. It's just, it's murdering people. Long murdering people, not just short term. So, all right. So topic of the day, and I am stopped up and I don't know why. Well, hey, Miss Sharon, can you put a link up for the programmed, the new stuff that we got on the website, the programmed radios? It's the radio packages. I was talking about them before you got in here, but if you could do that, I would appreciate it. All right. Let's see. The problem is it's too much common sense. They can't wrap their heads around it. Yeah, exactly. And then, of course, people are going to say, oh, my gosh, raw milk is so horrible. People die of raw milk, drinking raw milk every year. And it's like, that's not true. So the raw milk, the only time there's something wrong with the raw milk is if the raw milk gets contaminated while you're milking the cow. And I've talked to my cousin about this extensively. She used to milk a bunch of goats, and I think she's still got a milk cow. But she told me, essentially, that milk, that while it's still in the udder, is sterile and clean. And if it comes out and it does not, and if it goes into a sterile container, it still stays sterile. She said the problem with people getting sick with raw milk is when they don't clean the udder of the goat or the cow or the sheep or whatever they're doing. Or your jar, your container that you're putting it in has not been cleaned out and it's still got something in there. Thank you, Miss Sharon. So she was like, if it comes out of the udder sterile and goes into a sterile container that's clean, there's nothing wrong with it. And she was like, people don't clean the udder sometimes, and that's where you get some kind of contaminant. You get some poop or something like that on there, and it contaminates the whole batch. So right there, cleanliness, it's like they say, cleanliness is godliness. When you're milking, yes, you need to be in a clean situation. Make sure, take your precautions, and then you shouldn't have any problems then. Let's see. Bill says the main problem is that there's no money in individuals making healthy products and helping others to have a choice. That's true. There's not, well, a lot of people will see it as, it just costs so much more money. But yes, it's a lot healthier option, but yes, it does cost some money. And until we turn the tide of people thinking like that, or there's enough producers doing it, then the price is going to come down. It's just like anything else. If people are doing small scale stuff is going to be a little bit more expensive. But if you keep building it up and scaling it bigger, but still staying as a healthy choice and don't get into the commercialized farming, you've got to strike that balance on it. There's only so much, like somebody doing a herd share. they've only got so much time and so many animals they can do and do it the way that they want to. So that's where you need more people doing it. The more people that are doing it, then the cheaper the products are going to be because there's more availability on it. So that's just turning the tide and getting more people to do it and making healthier choices. I would rather pay a little bit more for something and know that it's a healthy choice for me and there's not all these contaminants and all this other crap in it. But that's just me. Some people are not going to do it. So, all right. Prepper mistakes. I've got 7 prepper mistakes, and I've typed everything out to where I can read it. But 7 of the prepper mistakes that I've seen and I've kind of thought about. And there's another chicken out the window that's out. So, all right. First mistake, buying gear without skills. That people are stockpiling radios, they're stockpiling generators and all this fancy equipment, and they don't know how to use it. Stockpiling guns, don't know how to use it. So it's kind of one of those things. When the lights go out, I'm going to learn how to use my radio and learn how to use my generator and learn how to use my ferro rod that I bought 20 ferro rods and they're all sitting in my desk drawer and I've never tried to use one before. Or I've got this ferro rod, now I need to make fire and it's pouring down rain and I've never practiced on it. One guy I know is notorious about this, and I've been on him about radio stuff for several years now, and he knows better. I was talking to him. I'm like, hey, you've got your radio. He's got a couple Baofengs, and I told him, I'm like, hey, I need to show you how to use it. We need to get these things programmed. We need to play with it and stuff like that. He's like, man, he said, if I ever need these things, he said, I'm going to figure it out when I need it. And I'm like, hey, Bobby, and that's not his real name, but it's like, hey, Bobby, you've got AR-15s and you didn't learn how to use those when somebody was breaking into your house. I was like, why would you do that with the radios? Well, it's different. And I'm like, not really. It's not really that different. You know, buy your stuff. Don't just stockpile all the stuff and not know how to use it. That's just like with our radio packages that we're doing now. I saw the hole in it of what people were selling, and we fixed that hole. With our radio packages, you buy the radio, we're going to let it get to you. Let you play with it for a few days, and then we're going to schedule a consultation with you and show you how to use that radio on a video. So you're not just buying it, setting it in there. Yeah, you can buy it and it's pre-programmed, but you're really like, cool, I got a pre-programmed radio, but I still don't know how to use the thing. So Brian and Susan are going to do a video with you, show you how to use this, answer your questions. So that's buying gears, but then you're also getting the skills. And also Brian and Susan, probably after the first of the year, we're going to set up a comms class to where if you buy some radio packages from us, you can do the consultation and then you can come to one of the workshops we're going to do with them and spend a couple days using this real world radio stuff and doing a lot deeper dive into it. So that's some of the stuff. Use your gear. If you've got a Baofeng radio, take it and play with it. Figure out what you can do with it. If you've got, your medical stuff, a lot of people will buy medical stuff and they've got gobs of medical stuff, but they have never used it, never done any training whatsoever with it. I'm practicing what I preach. I'm going down to TAC Response to get more training in medical stuff with them at the end of August. I'm super excited about that. So don't just buy stuff and set it on the shelf. Buy the stuff, figure out how to use it, and train with it. That's one of the biggest mistakes that I see. And let me see, Bill. Big Pharma is going to fight tooth and nail to keep people from producing healthier foods to supply your community. A healthy person is a lost customer. Hey, that's 100%. They're going to do that. That's why they demonize everything. They demonize raw milk. They demonize red meat. Oh gosh, they demonize just everything. Demonize the sun, stuff like that. And I tell you one thing, talking about demonizing the sun and stuff like that, I've almost stopped wearing sunglasses. I used to. There was always sunglasses on top of my head. I had an extra pair in the truck. And anytime I would walk outside, I would throw sunglasses on. Anytime I was working outside driving, I would throw sunglasses on. And sunglasses just totally mess up your whole circadian rhythm and all that stuff. When your eyes are in there, your body, it's hard to explain all of it, and I've not done super deep dives in it yet. But if you've got sunglasses on and you're outside, your body is, your eyes are saying, hey, it's dark outside. We don't need to protect our skin as much and produce, I think it's melatonin that'll keep you from getting as sunburned. So that's why people get sunburned so much. I was out Sunday. We went to my parents' house and went swimming at like 1 o'clock in the afternoon. I didn't put on any sunscreen whatsoever. I was out for about an hour, and I'm white as a ghost most of the time. I mean, I hardly ever work without a shirt on. Nobody wants to see that sexiness. So I typically work with a shirt on. I got some sun. I was out for an hour and a half, 2 hours, something like that in the pool. And yes, I got a little bit of sun. I got a little bit of red, but I did not have sunglasses on. And I can almost guarantee that if I would have had sunglasses on, I would have been as red as that case up on the shelf. So that's tangent that we went down. So yes, but Big Pharma will keep demonizing all that stuff that's good for you. It's good for you to get out and get midday sun, your morning sun, and everything like that, and stop using the sunscreens and all that kind of stuff. So that, and avoid sunglasses. I've tried to avoid them as much as I can. There's a couple times where it's just burning down, especially at like a baseball game. And I'm just like, I have to wear sunglasses for a little bit, but I'm trying to keep myself from wearing them as much as I can. All right. Mistake number 2, overlooking water storage. All these people stockpile food. They're just like, I've got buckets and buckets of food. I've got all this freeze-dried food, all this stuff. You can only go 3 days without water. So that's cool. It's you've got to have water to live. And then most of them say store at least 1 gallon per person per day. I go along the lines of 3 gallons per person per day. A gallon for cleaning up, a gallon for cooking, and then a gallon to drink. So, but do that. And then, water's heavy and it takes up a lot of space. So, but then you've got all these freeze-dried or dehydrated foods that you need water to do. Yeah, you can have tons of freeze-dried foods, tons of dehydrated food, but if you don't have a water source to rehydrate those, you're going to be eating a lot of dehydrated stuff that's just like eating chalk. So store some water up. That's one of the big mistakes I see people make. They don't have near the water storage that they need. So plan on 3 gallons per person per day. And let me see. Bill says, when I was milking, my fecal contaminant parts per million was 2. USDA standards is 10 on pasteurized milk. Yeah, exactly. And that's one of the things people are like, we need to regulate more the small farmers. And the small farmers just don't take this serious. People can get sick. Home canned goods, they demonize us canning stuff at home that, oh my gosh, it's not safe for you to do this. How many times do you see recalls on canned stuff? And how many times do you see recalls on big commercial manufacturers? It's, we've got listeria in this lettuce or something like that. Or there's been E. coli in this ground beef that at Kroger or whatever. First, I think that one guy had kind of said a conspiracy is like, every time you see one of these big recalls, that's the government coming in and saying, hey, we need this food for our underground storage, our DUMBs, deep underground military bases. And but that's another rabbit hole that we could go down. But yeah, if you look at that, the thing is, all right, I'm a small general contractor. If I do crappy work on one job, it's going to spread that I did crappy work on this job, and then I'm going to lose some jobs, as opposed to a huge, big construction company that, if they screw one job up, they've got multiple jobs down the pike. Their reputation keeps them going and everything. So they can screw some stuff up and people keep getting them to do contracting just because they're the big guy and they think it's better. That goes along with the small producer. If somebody is doing milk and 2 or 3 of their customers get sick, man, it's going to spread like wildfire that, hey, we don't want to go buy milk from Bill because, 4 or 5 of his customers got sick and Bill wasn't really cleaning and doing the cleaning practices like what he needed to. So that the small consumer are going to be a lot more careful because the only thing they've got is their reputation. They don't have a huge big name behind this big conglomerate of stuff. So the smaller producers most likely are going to take more care and be a lot cleaner and worry about their finished product a lot more than the big guys. Let me see. My wife made simple natural product udder wipe spray, but is also anal about keeping my goats on clean, dry bedding and housing. Exactly. And that's, take better care of your animals. People are going to do that. Your small guys are going to do that. All right. Mistake number 3, storing food that you don't eat. Most people are not eating wheat all the time. They're not eating dried beans. They're not eating powdered milk. They're not eating random MREs, powdered eggs, and all that. But that's what you see people store. So you're going to have a heck of a time if you go from, all right, let's just say average person, we're eating Chick-fil-A, we're eating McDonald's, all that kind of stuff. And then, boom, you got to go into your emergency food supplies. Your body is going to have a major shock if you're going to beans and rice, powdered eggs, and all that stuff. So stock the stuff that you're eating now or incorporate some of it into your diet. If you've got a ton of beans and rice stored up, eat beans and rice a couple times a week just so you're familiar with it and stuff like that. If you don't like eating it now, you're going to have a heck of a time eating it when the grid goes down and you're just going to be like, man, this stuff is garbage. I wished I would have stored different stuff. And then also on your freeze-dried stuff, try some of that freeze-dried stuff. Don't just stock buckets and buckets of freeze-dried stuff without trying it. See what you like, see what's going on with it, and if you actually like this stuff or not. So, it's the whole thing, store what you eat and eat what you store. All right. Ignoring physical fitness. All right. How many guys have you seen? It's the whole, I wished I had a meme of that. It's like these 2 guys, they're just, morbidly obese, but man, they are kitted out in multicam, plate carrier, huge big backpack, and their AR-15s and everything. And they're just like, they're sitting there, we're ready to bug out. And it's like Gravy Team 6 is what they call it. People prepare for everything, but the physical stuff. So I'm not going to get on that too much. Yes, I could lose a little bit of weight. Probably need to start working on that. But a lot of people are like, yeah, I've got a 60-pound bug out bag, and I'm going to, when the balloon goes up, we're going to strap on our 60-pound bags, and we're going to march 15 miles to our bug out location. Dude, if you've never done it, you're not going to make it. You're going to get to the end of your driveway and be like, damn, 60 pounds is a lot. I want to start shedding stuff already. So get out there, do a simple routine, start walking, start hiking, doing some stuff like that. Heck, if you have to get a treadmill, walk on your treadmill. Do it. Stick your bug out bag on your treadmill and walk on your treadmill and see how far you can make it. That'll give you some kind of stance right there. Try that out. 30 pounds is not too awful bad. If your bag's going to be 30 pounds, get it, start walking and start practicing with it. And let's see, Miss Sharon. Small-time producers are more careful because they don't want to make their own family sick. Exactly. And a lot of times, your small producers, these people are your family, your friends, people that you know that you're really watching out for them. So, yes, small producers are going to be a lot more careful than your big guys because the big guys really don't care. And if you get down to it, the big guys' kids and family are probably not eating what they're producing. And Bill's not eating fast food in 13 plus years. That's awesome. I can't say that. I try to limit my fast food, but a lot of times I don't. Yesterday for lunch, I'm trying to get a little bit more low carb. So yesterday for lunch, I was in town. I was like, I want something, just some meat. And sometimes I have cravings for nothing but meat. So I stopped at the barbecue place and went through the drive-thru, and I was like, I want a pound of pulled pork and an unsweet tea. So I got a pound of pulled pork and an unsweet tea, and that's what I had for lunch. And I was like, this is amazing. And then honestly, even last night after I got in, I was like, I'm really not that hungry, but I ended up eating some steak that we had left over from Sunday. And hacks for the homesteader. We learn to eat what we store and grow and store what we eat. It's a learned process for sure. Exactly. And you're not going to do it overnight. And honestly, I mean, a lot of the stuff, some of it's going to be eaten seasonally too. So if you've got stuff coming in the garden, eat what's coming in the garden, and then what you're not going to eat, go ahead and preserve it. Can it, dehydrate it, freeze dry it, whatever you're going to do. But if you absolutely despise beans, don't store beans. Find something else that's going to work for you. There's stuff that I totally despise that it's like, I'm not going to store this stuff because I totally despise it. So it's like, why waste the money doing that? Let's see, Bill. I learned a long time ago that it's way easier to raise animals than grow a handful of vegetables. Yeah. And I tell you this, I'm a meat guy. I lean more towards meat production at my place. Meat production and then perennial stuff like my food forest. I'm not super heavy on the annual stuff. I like it. Down there at the food forest, we've got all kinds of different fruits and stuff like that growing, and I have to put minimal effort into it, and it's there every year. So I do that, and honestly, I would rather grow grass to where my animals can eat it and turn it into meat. That's my big thing. Because then also with the meats and everything, you've got fats. So if you're growing pigs, you're growing sheep, you're growing cows, you're going to have fats. And that's the biggest thing. That's the hardest thing to find is fat in nature. And Bill, growing vegetables is a lot harder than most people realize. Yeah, exactly. So, hey, Bill, also Miss Sharon put your YouTube channel. How's your YouTube channel going? So, do you feel any better? Feel any better about the YouTube videos you're doing? And Bill says, we've cut out over 90% of the sugar intake with my wife having cancer that sugar feeds and promotes. Yes, sugar, cancer does love sugar. So that's one of the things I do need to cut out is some of my sugars. I'm trying, but I tell you what, it's hard. So that's one of the things I'm trying to cut out. All right. Mistake number 5, not having communication plans. It's kind of that whole thing. Your family will find each other after a disaster. That's probably not going to happen. You've got to have designated meeting places. Who's going to do what if an emergency happens? You've got to have a way, a plan. Radios. How are you going to talk to each other if the cellular network goes down and you don't know where each other are? You need to have a plan of who's getting who. If you got kids in school, who's getting who from school, where you're going to be, where you're going to meet up, that kind of thing. Each one of our vehicles has a handheld radio with a mag mount antenna in it to where we can get, 5-6 miles away. My schedule varies a fair amount. My wife's schedule varies a little bit, but we've talked about it. Who's going to get what, who's going to do what in case there's an emergency. Have a written down plan and figure that stuff out. And also the trusted circle of people. The trusted circle of people, your neighbor, your friends, your mag, have that set up and everything. Communicate with these people. Hey, this is if X, Y, and Z happens, we're going to do A, B, and C, and that's our plan. So maybe somebody else can help you get the kids from school. If you happen to be out, if you're going to be out of town for the day, you can call your neighbor and be like, hey, I'm going to be 2 hours away from the house. If something goes down, can you take care of little Johnny and getting him from school? So that's where you need to have a plan on it. And then Miss Sharon, I think my worst fear being separated from family and not knowing if they're okay. Exactly. That would be a horrible situation, not knowing if your family was okay and how to get to them and how to talk to them. So that comes up with having the communications plan, radio stuff, and everything. I mean, having your base station radio, everybody knowing how to use the radio, stuff like that. Mistake number 6, going it alone. The whole lone wolf prepping thing. Nobody is going to make it on their own. Everybody's like that little meme. It's like, grab your SKS and head into the woods when shit hit the fan. That's not going to work. Yeah, you can stay out there for a little bit, but it's not going to work too good. So have your community of people. It's easier. Emergencies are easier to handle if you've got support. And this goes for everything. A medical emergency, if you've got support for that, it's going to go a lot smoother with a medical emergency. If you've got anything, if you've got, a disaster comes through, or, even if you've got high winds or a tornado and you've got trees down that you need to help. If you've got friends, in a community, they can help you get these trees instead of you out there doing it all by yourself. If you've got a ton of animals to take care of and you need some help doing something, hey, get some of your friends. They're going to come down and be able to help you with stuff. If you're going to process an animal, hey, it's time to process this pig. If you've got friends that'll come down and help you, man, it's going to make work so much easier. And let me see. Bill says, I'm finally getting back to normal after heat exhaustion and dehydration. I'm trying to catch up now before I do a little farm walk, showing and explaining what I've done and future plans. That sounds cool, Bill. Keep at it, and maybe you'll have 100,000 subscribers one of these days. So, and yeah, Miss Sharon, everybody hit the like button. I appreciate it. All right. Myth number 7, prepping is one and done. People stock up and they're like, boom, I've got it. I don't need to do anything else. It's, your stuff expires. Situations will change, stuff like that. So, I mean, you can't just buy one. You just can't buy all of it and be like, I'm done. It's like Bill said a minute ago, buying a year's food supply and stopping. Depending on what kind of foods you buy, that stuff is eventually going to expire, or quote expire, and go bad. So it's constantly building that food supply up. It's constantly building that stuff. You're never going to buy it and be done with it. It's always an evolution of getting more stuff, getting more skills, and living this. You just don't go out and buy a dozen chickens and be like, hey, I'm set on chickens. It's like those chickens are going to quit laying pretty soon. They're going to hit a spot to where they're not laying near as good. So you're going to have to either hatch more chicks, buy more, or do whatever you can with that. You've got to get it. It's slowly evolving. So don't just buy it and be done. You can't just buy it, done. Don't just go buy, one AR-15 and then buy 1,000 rounds of ammo and be like, boom, I'm done. You need more ammo. You need to be out training on stuff. Medical stuff also. Don't just buy a case of gauze, or don't just buy one first aid kit and it's like, boom, I'm done. You need to replace some of that stuff, especially if you've got like a vehicle medical bag and you're using that stuff. You need to replace that stuff. I've got to look at the bag in my wife's SUV because we use that quite a bit for cuts and scrapes and stuff like that, headaches, all kinds of heartburn, stuff like that. So I need to go through there and replace some of the stuff in her kit. So I'm going to do that probably this week. Just grab it out of her car, look through there and be like, hey, we need some more Band-Aids in there. We need some more Tylenol, or we need some more antacid, something like that. So it's not ever just one and done on that. And that's the last mistake that I've seen. And then let's see. Hacks for the homesteader. Don't count out CB radios and weather radios for information and local comms. Yes, exactly. I bought it's been a couple years ago. I was at a flea market and I found it's a Cobra CB, a small little CB. I bought it. The guy wanted like $5. And he didn't have a way to see if it powered up or anything like that. But I was like, for $5, I'll take a chance. I brought it home. It came with an antenna, a small magnet whip antenna. I plugged it into my power supply. The thing fired right up. It was good to go. So I'm like, for $5, I'll take it. So I don't think, honestly, on a grid down, I don't think a lot of people will be using CBs because I think they've fallen so far out with all the handheld. I mean, you can go buy a Baofeng. You can go buy a Baofeng radio and be on the air playing with it. But CBs are a good thing. Let's see. Apple cider vinegar is a great antacid. All right, Bill. Thank you for that. And then, one of the cool things, the 5RMs that we're selling, they are a tri-band. They will do 2 meter, 70 centimeter, and 1.25 meter ham bands. And I'll tell you what, a little secret, not a lot of people are using the 1.25 band. I tuned one of my 17s. The 17s will also do 1.25 band. I tuned one of my 17s in on the 1.25 band. Listened to it for several hours, just had it sitting on the desk. Never heard a peep, nothing on there. And I'm like, man, nobody around here is using that. I want some of these radios that are a tri-band. Because if nobody's using it, yes, it's not going to be private by any means, but there's not a ton of traffic on it. So if nobody's using it, you've got it almost free to yourself. So that's something else that you can look at. And let me see, Bill. According to the medical side, it sends signals to your gut to stop producing acid. I did not know that. See, I learned something new every day too. So, guys, that's what I've got. Prepper mistakes that I've seen. I've got an idea. Well, hopefully, Jessica, Combat Midwife, is going to be on with me Friday. I'm waiting for her to tell me she had something that she might have to be doing, that she might have going, but she told me she would let me know by like Wednesday. So if everything works out, we'll have Combat Midwife on here Friday morning. And I'm excited to get her on the show and talk to her about the class that she's coming down to do and all that. But guys, I've got to go meet the plumbers here in a few minutes. I appreciate y'all being here. And also, don't forget the workshops. Run check those out. And yes, Miss Sharon's got in there Retro Warrior Coffee, Homestead 50 to get you 50% off the sample pack so you can try it before you get a subscription. And then also go check out the workshops. We've got amazing workshops. Shelly and I have been busting our butts to get these workshops ready for y'all. And yeah, use the code KSL for a discount. That gets you $40 off the class if you use that code. But guys, Shelly and I, like I said, have busted our butt to get y'all some good training opportunities to come and do this. And if you got any questions, shoot me an email. But I will see y'all here Friday morning, 8 o'clock. I appreciate y'all, and I will see y'all soon. Goodbye.